this is another like piece of it that I'm talking to is like, even when they're deciding where to go, a lot of times they are looking at the coach for sure, but then it's always about like who's the rest of the group that we can get to come, you know? And they're trying to like, especially now with this open borders thing, it's like they're trying to construct situations, you know? They have for sure they've always done it, but now it's they have the freedom to do it. They don't have to do it sneaky. Now they can just do it, you know? So it's crazy, dude. It's crazy. And so now it's like, okay, like this might be better than this, or this might be better than that. But at the end of the day, it just depends on what is everybody else doing, right? Because it's very important that we're on a really, really good team. And that's another element that we've talked about several times before. Like in the youth hockey loop, obviously, yeah, you don't want to be on a house league team that goes 0-100, but the fact that you're on the best team ever, it doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter.
Want to hear it funny?
Yes, I do.
It's not funny though.
It's
No,
is it gonna piss me
I'm
off?
thinking no, because it's hindsight, not my hindsight. It's someone else's. So I'm not going to name a name because I don't have their permission to. But really good hockey player. Okay, playing junior right now. I'll tell you who it is after. Okay, so we were before a game the other day. I saw this gentleman and I gotta go say hi. I said, you haven't got my number yet. Call me if you ever need anything. All that stuff, right? I said, your son's a good player, man. Said, thank you. I said, no, he's really good, smart. Like I said, he did. Funny thing, he didn't have a clue what I did. He goes, someone told me you have a podcast. So I'd be like, yeah, I have a podcast. I didn't say much about it. He goes, what's it about? I go, it's whatever. I explained a little bit. And he goes, oh, how'd you get into that? So I was a hockey player at one time and I trained players. What do you mean train them? I go, well, like Aaron Ekblad and Zach Cassian and like a lot of like, he goes, oh, really? Like on the ice? I go, yeah. And why would he? He doesn't need to know. So he goes, oh, that's cool. Anyways, we're talking about this thing. And he goes, you know what I found? Because he played at the Toronto, the biggest name in Toronto, right? Biggest team, Marlies, played for the Marlies. You know, after all these years watching hockey, he goes, I realized that, and his son is really good. I realized that winning hockey and minor hockey does not matter one bit. And I go, it matters zero. He goes, and this guy's an intelligent guy. He goes, I realize it now that I'm at this level. He goes, it means nothing as far as your development goes. All the coaches that got paid, all that stuff. He goes, it means absolutely diddly, like nothing. I go, you're 100% right. To the point of this coaching thing.
So okay,
so you go.
Well, I was gonna say, so like when we talk about players in here, and like all of us have conversations with whether it's guys in the OHL or scouts or agents that are real and like all this about actual players moving on. Like, is it ever in the conversation of how good was the team they were on, or like where did they what was their record in their draft year, or like how far in the playoffs? Like that's never even a piece of the conversation ever. Like one of our guys scouts for Brampton, never once is he like, hey, like if they don't play in Toronto, like I'm not going to watch them. Like that's not what happens. They're looking for the best players, man. You know, and if you're playing in a sanctioned AAA organization in your draft year, someone at some point is going to watch you. That is what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen, man. And so like I listened to the conversation, I talked to the parents, and it's really frustrating because running a program, we have to respond to the feedback. We're dumb if we don't, right? So I have to listen to the parent concerns and I have to provide some action based on what the parents are asking, but they just don't know. They just don't know, realize, understand, or refuse to believe the reality that even if you're on a very average team, it doesn't matter, man, in terms of the long-term goal of progressing in hockey best you can. You know, if you want to win youth hockey championships and that's your goal, then yeah, okay, you find the best team to play on. That's fine. You know, but in terms of like exposure and like most of the AAA teams will play in some of the big tournaments. It doesn't necessarily have to be all of them, but if you play in a couple of the big tournaments, like people are going to be there and watching. And almost every single AAA team that I know of in Ontario plays in some of those tournaments, right? So they get caught up. They get caught up on these things. And then it comes back to the coaching thing. You know, it's like mid-season, all of a sudden you sour on your coach, and it's like, what did you think? Right? Like, what did you think?
Well,
like,
the thing is,
think
like,
it was John Cooper? Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
right.
But the thing is, like, when you look at it, I don't know. People say, but yeah, but good coaching helps. And I'm like, it can, yes, it can for a period of time. But like when you're talking about should a coach like do they only do video once a week? It's like I'm gonna tell you something. A lot of those coaches that if they were to do video with my son, I hope they didn't. What are you actually showing? Because one of the coaches asked me when my kid played, can you come in and maybe you can point something out too? So it was just clips, and then it was like there was no there was only a very small piece of value that were added to him doing the video. There was some, but it was like not as it was like random. Let's get through these real quick. Um, Showing mistakes, whatever. There's other ways to do it, but anyways, it was like not that big of a deal. But there's a lot of them I would be like, no, please
Well,
don't show my kid anything.
when it just checks a
Yeah,
box.
but if you're coach, I mean, you are fortunate if you can learn, providing it's correct. If you do learn how to cut off ice, how to angle, how to like learn how to play the game like to a certain degree where it makes habits good. Like it is a good thing because it'll help you develop habits early, but it doesn't mean that those habits are going to translate into junior or whatever else. And it's not the end all be all because things change and everything anyways. But good coaching, um what the definition of what is good coaching? That's the other thing, right? Like what is good coaching at the youth level? Is it because if you're X and Oing people to death, is that good? Because maybe those kids just need freedom to play and learn the
Well, okay,
game.
so I was having this conversation with a dad a little while back, and they were like, "Yeah, it'd be good if we got this kind of coach or this kind of person." I'm like, "You know what it would cost to get that kind of coach?" So I'm like, "Okay, you want that kind of coach? That kind of coach, you have to pull that kind of coach away from their coaching job to come and coach, right? That costs a lot of money, man. Right? You have to replace a full time adult salary for that, so like what, and for the age, it's like to your point, is that appropriate? Like, is that necessary? Do you need that? It's great if you can have it, but I guess that's kind of my summary is like not a prescription for anything, but just like where are we putting the bar on these people that we're hiring as youth hockey coaches, right? It's like it's really challenging, and like I guess maybe doing my full circle thing and bringing it back. Unless you have anything else to say on that, because I'm gonna
What I
loop
was
it in,
going to
just
say
tie
is
it
when
up.
you're talking earlier about the herd, how some parents have to talk to other parents to find out what other people are doing before they make a decision. They want to go to a good team. It's like I'm not saying this as a jackass and like how do you know what's best for them anyways? Like, but I say that honestly because as per my conversation with Chitter the other day, because I can't talk to people about hockey because they don't know because they weren't in the game. And I find the same thing. It's like so hard, but everybody seems just to know everything about everything, but they know nothing about anything. And I don't mean that as a jerk. It's like, but it's true. They don't know what they don't know.